Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Coming at you with this truth. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the truth that I talk about here on this channel are very uh, controversial in the sense that truth and logic and reality is not accepted. It's not a commonplace thing in this world. Okay, so we have always been rare breeds upon this planet. Okay, the one that have existed before and myself as we are living in this last days. Okay, I'm just gonna give you a couple of points here, read some verses from the Bible, and then make you understand as to why is America living under this pandemic, okay, which was created. It should be called a pandemic. Now, having said that, please do be advised that this channel most likely after this pandemic, after it has come down a bit, it might be taken down. Because what I talk about here, even though it's on a Bible-based channel, okay, we got to understand the history on the planet that we live upon. We got to understand the history of evil and how is it impacting our lives in these last days. So nobody wants to hear the truth, because the thing is, the truth is a poor man's tale, they say, right? But not even the one that controls the planet believe that for a minute. Okay? So, having said that, let us start. First of all, let's start with the history of the WHO organization, the World Health Organization, the WHO, okay? Which was created back on April 7, 1948. And its headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. Okay? Now, check this out. After World War II, they came up with, wait a minute, we got to do something about the scourge of diseases and viruses around the world, of pandemics. So, in its beginnings, you could say, oh, that's a very noble cause. That's good. It's beautiful to see a man loving man, human beings loving each other. little do we know that what has been sold to us as a good intention has become an evil empire. Okay? So, if you study the history of the World Health Organization, the real history, not what they give you in the stream media, like CNN, MSNBC, NBC, Fox, CBS, not what they give you in those channels, because you got to understand one thing, ladies and gentlemen. They control any form of communication. Remember what the Bible calls the God of this world, the prince of the air. Okay? Now, whether you want to accept the reality that there is a devil, don't make no difference to me. It's the same thing as if I tell you, well, the sun is gonna come out tomorrow. You may choose to believe me or not. But the sun will do its jobs and it will come out tomorrow. For those that can see it. And of course, if we passed away before the sun comes down tomorrow, then that's a whole different ballgame. but even with us, even with us passing away, the sun will keep on shining, doing its job. So, having said that, the same thing with the realities that not that I show, but what this book of instructions teaches us. The only book where all books have been written off the Bible. But people have been so worked, so worked up, so programmed, so conditioned, so deceived that they believe otherwise, without realizing that the worst leaders are the one that created and push all the religions on this planet. Because religious belief was actual, it is actual concept that was born, that came out of the spiritual realm to deceive, to control, okay, the masses. That's why you think you are seeing that he's got control over religion. Remember, men and their power tripping governors throughout the United States and their power tripping are preventing folks from going to the churches. But they do allow liquor store. They do allow Walmart. They do allow Target. They do allow big banks, to Costco, to keep on having business. You think this is a coincidence? No, ladies and gentlemen. The fact of the matter is that this big corporation form part of this agenda. In other words, being that they control everything, the devil plays on being God. He's delusional. The devil is beyond delusion. And the power tripping governors that you see around the United States, like in Michigan, New Jersey, New York, California, Maine, all those power tripping governors know, since they are part of the agenda, they've been told to resist. They are power tripping, flexing their muscles. You may say, well, Ruben, what motivates these leaders to do this? Well, there are many factors. First of all, the reality is, and again, please don't believe anything that I say here. Please, don't believe me. Do your research. Don't forget the links that I'm going to share with you in this video. You will find them right below, where they always are, below the description. Actually, within the description of this video. So, these power-tripping governors are motivated by evil spirit, whose agenda they are pushing. And what is the agenda? That the ultimate God is Satan. So they have been working humanities for ages through their religion and through their political games and through Hollywood, all of that, through the mainstream media. So it's too late for people to kind of take a hold and grasp this reality which I talk about here. Okay? So, and one of them is that your vote don't count. Your votes don't count, ladies and gentlemen. You have been duped. You have been worked. Let me give you a little bit, let me give you a scenario here so that you can see where I'm coming from and that you can understand what I'm talking about here. First, we had I'm gonna work it from George Bush down the line, right? George Bush Jr. He gave us what? 9/11. So you see, all leaders have been given agendas, things that they must accomplish. George Bush gave us 9/11 after gaining your trust, after making you believe that you actually put this devil in the White House at that time. Then came Barack Obama, the first black, the first black president of the United States. But yet, he turned out to be the worst president for his own people. How do you explain that? Because he proves what I'm telling you. They are told what to do. Presidents in the United States have always been pawns, have always been puppets by their very essence. Okay? And they have used the Constitution to their advantage. They have used the Constitution to chip away at the Constitution. Okay? They chip away. Remember? George Bush gave us 9/11. Then what did he give us after that? The Patriot Act, which is giving more powers to the authorities. To keep surveillance, to keep tabs on the American society. Then again, Barack Obama turned out to be the worst president in modern times for the black people, for the Negroes of America, for minority, period. Because they are told. And not only that, but he gave us one of the worst economic picture that there was. And not only that, but as I forgot this comedian that said that they were a perfect couple. The first lady, which is claiming was a lady, but it is actually, many people have done many scientific study and can prove that Michelle Obama is actually a man. But that's another video, that's another subject. But ladies and gentlemen, that's the reality. In fact, what was it? The Time magazine called him the first gay president. Why couldn't he be called the first people's president? Why does it have to be gay? We all one people. We are all one United States of America. Why do you have to bring out groups to divide the masses? That's what politicians do. And that's what religious leaders have done through history. Remember the holy wars? Remember the Papal Inquisition, which killed 100 million plus human beings upon this earth? And what was their crime? Reading the Bible. Pushed by the Roman Catholic Church, who we all know is the first beast. And the second beast is, believe it or not, the United States of America. And she's written of, in chapter 13, Revelation chapter 13, verse 11, King James Version, read it. When he talks about the first beast being injured and then being cured, eventually being cured, he's talking about the what the soldier General Bonaparte did to the Roman Catholic Church. It took away her power for 131 years. In 1798, but it regained, and her injury was cured back in 1929. But anyway, here we go. So if you study the history of the World Health Organization, ladies and gentlemen, you will see many evils. You will see that they are the cause of many of the different pandemics upon this planet. Why? Because common sense should tell you, if I'm a doctor, would I be interested in curing diseases? No. Because I will go hungry. I will exist to be a doctor. No. They create. The AIDS virus was created. I have sent you links on that to prove it. And now, so we then became Barack Obama, right? And now we have the savior, Donald Trump, which in the Illuminati cards, he was one of the most predictable presidents that you could ever imagine. That's why he was even shown in the Simpsons before to every detail. That's why he's in the Illuminati cards telling you enough is enough. And that's exactly how he was going to come out. When he first came out, the Federal Reserve and the shadow government was working with him. He was the good news president. He was looking at the best economy that the United States has had in many, many years, or perhaps in its history. Knowing, and he kept saying it, knowing, but people were not listening, knowing that it was all going to go downhill. That it was all going to go down to literally hell. And now we got 30 Americans unemployed. You got suicides. You got child molestation. You got drug abuse, and you got domestic violence off the roof, breaking all records. And believe me, I work for the government. I know what I'm talking about. I'm in the belly of the beast. Okay? So, now, then came Mr. Donald Trump, the savior. He knew this thing was coming. In fact, he knew about this virus that was going to come before he came. Believe it or not. And by the way, since the devil always talks in symbols, and he wants to be the God of this world. He proves that he's the God of this world. That's why he's got control over the very religion that he pushed. Sad, sad, sad. That's sad, y'all. You create something that deceives the masses, then you claim to have control of it. No, because you created them. All religions were created, were conceived by this garbage called the devil. The enemy, the opposite, Satan. But yet he's being worshipped and he's being pushed and he's being protected by the newsstream media, by Hollywood, by Bill Gates, and we all know about Bill Gates. I have given you, and I'm going to send you some more links up in here proving my case. Now, Jared Kushner, who is married to one of what's her name? Ivanka? He's married to one of Donald Trump's daughter, Ivanka. He's got his business. You want to hear the address? And you remember what I told you? The devil works in symbols. That's the language that he borrowed from the Creator, because God's the great I am's language is symbols, signs, numbers, and symbols. And the devil does the same thing. You want to know where he lives? His address, not where he lives, his business, 666 Fifth Avenue, New York. And I know exactly where that is because I used to work and lived in New York most of my life. You think that's a coincidence? No. These people are Satanists. And now he's a counselor to the president. Unbelievable. You think I'm kidding? Do your research. Obviously, this video is going to be cut short, so I'm going to kind of wrap it up. First of all, another thing that they have used the Constitution is, do you know that according to the 14th Amendment, you can drive in the United States without a license, without a permit from the government? Do your research on that. Now, what's the purpose of me telling you this? How they have chipped away at the Constitution, and they still doing it. And like I mentioned, this power tripping governors are doing the same thing by design. The United Nations was formed on October 24, 1945, right after World War II. By the way, the land where the United States was built was given to that organization by the Rockefellers, okay? An evil family. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. This whole world is in a world of hurt. And those who say the truth, God's soldiers, God's people, will suffer tremendously so, because they are falling into this lie. Okay? Now, again, why do I mention the United Nations was created? Because I want you to understand that the World Health Organization and the United Nations work hand in hand. And by the way, China was once one of the directors, and China is still a favorite of the World Health Organization. It is controlled by the United Nations. I just want you to understand why all of these organizations have been created and what are their purposes. Planned Parenthood, founded back on October 16, 1916. Do you want to know who was chairman of the board at Planned Parenthood? It was not Margaret Sanger. It was Bill Gates' dad, William Henry Gates. You may say, well, why, Ruben? What? He was there. These people these people are eugenics. The same ideological philosophy, crazy, evil philosophy that Hitler had in mind, or his pure white race. And the rest of us are animals, or subhumans actually, Goyans, cattle that can be easily manipulated. Look, did you see the picture on the economics? On the economics magazine, how they have a mask and a man walking a dog with a mask. They're telling you, they talk to us all the time. We're just too blind and too distracted to see it before they do it. So this is their time and this is their world. The devil's disciples are working hard at destroying life without remorse because they consider the rest of humanity stupid and that they deserve what's coming to them. Since we are the masters of knowledge, they deserve to die. Even when we tell them what we are going to do, they still don't see it. We told them about 9/11. They didn't see it. We did it. We told them about this pandemic, coronavirus. They didn't listen. Anyway, so this is all I want you to understand how this, and then they created other organizations like the Economic Forum, the Rockefeller Foundation, I mean, you name it. They're all controlled by Masonic, by the Masons. All right. So, having said that, let us go to Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. If I got it, if not, then you read it. Ephesians 6, chapter 6, verse 12. See? It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. These people are Satanists. Remember? And remember what the devil told Christ, which is recorded in Luke 4, about that all the riches were given unto him. And all the kingdoms of the world was under his feet. And that he would have given it to him if he would just lay down and worship him. Okay? So, you understand? In fact, so you understand the people that control the riches of this planet. Now you see why they're evil? I won't have time, but let's see if I do. Luke 4. Okay, Luke 4. In verse 6. And the devil said unto him, all this power would I give thee, and the glory of them, for what is